Gil started trading mobile phones on MIRC chat rooms at age 12 and cars by 18. He was a crucial part of early tech expansion in the region, notably as a project manager at Lazada and country manager at Shopback, where he met his co-founder Shameen Loy. iMotorbike launched in 2016 as a motorbike news portal and classified site. In 2021, they made a massive pivot to a transactional circular economy model. They recently secured a $10 million Series A led by Headline with participation from 500 global Gobi partners and Endeavor Catalyst. He's an amateur opera singer, races car, and does judo. But trading phones online at the age of 12 and later scaled Shopback to 4 million GMV in its first year in Malaysia. How did that early scrappy trading mentality translate into building the operational heavy thing required for a transactional marketplace like iMotorbike?
That's a great question. I think essentially we are compounding of our experience. I think the first learning on trading mobile phones is the no is the first guaranteed thing you get in any interaction that you try to do. And you kind of start to embrace chaos of what that means in terms of internal processing of the frustrations of getting a no, and then people say yes, they're going to show up for you to sell the phone, but they're not there. And then they actually show up, they say yes to everything, you arrive to the place, and then they try to bargain it down. And then Shopback, obviously, completely different business. It was a lot more about marketing effort push, making $1 build 10, and being incredibly ROI driven. I think compounding that with Lazada, running a factory, doing a ton of other things, family business, whatnot, I think really grew me to feel confident in getting to iMotorbike business and think of the capability of it growing globally without any fear.
Interesting. And a follow-up to that would be, you met your co-founder, Shameen, at Shopback, right? And for the early stage founders watching this, what was the moment you both realized we need to leave this rocket ship and build our own in the motorcycle space of all the places?
Yeah, so I think as we start working together, it was very clear that we were both very strong characters. And at the beginning was not plain vanilla. We kind of, just titans testing each other. And then she did a fair bit of testing of my capabilities. And past that stage, we got into understanding that we actually work really well together. We create magic. And that's, what was able to make us successful immediately at Shopback. But at the same time, then she continued quite a bit more in the pursuit of her adventure in Shopback whilst I migrated to iMotorbike. And then, as she felt that her time was to change, then we started talking, and obviously we had worked together. We knew we could do so much, and we realized was great partnership. And then she joined iMotorbike, got into to the co-founder role, and basically we scaled up to what we are today.
Awesome. But coming to the history, iMotorbike started in 2016 as a classified and news site. And in 2021, you made the hardest decision a founder can make. You pivoted to a highly operational model. So could you walk us through that pivotal board meeting? How did you convince your early backers that moving from a lightweight classified model to a heavy inventory and inspection model was the winning bet at that time?
I think it was more a push from a few shareholders on us than the opposite. We were in our fourth or fifth year that event, no money in the bank, trying to see how we can survive another month. And yeah, it was actually Kylie from 500 giving us the nudge. You guys traded mobile phones as well. You personally also trade cars, motorcycles, and all sorts of different things. Why you do that personally? Just do it for the company. It's definitely, we're trying. He gave us a push. He also supported us a bit on that early start. And that's how it went. And to be honest, at the beginning, I was a little bit resistant because I didn't want to tell my daughters that I was a motorcycle salesman. But it sounded a lot more right to do classifieds in perspective. But what we realized post doing so is that we were actually starting to solve the bigger picture problem, which is trust and serving properly consumers with the need of accessing what now powers the entire economy across most emerging markets globally, which is the motorcycle, right? There's not enough public transport. There's definitely not enough infrastructure in most of these countries, and a motorcycle that is purchased is a big household decision making, because it carries close to 7 salaries every year on the average of GDP per capita of Southeast Asia, and that's why you see some credit financing companies providing 5 to 9 years of loans for motorcycles, and essentially we start seeing the first few trades we did. I remember during COVID, so we're doing out of each one of our condos and car parks and whatnot, and the joy and happiness of a consumer knowing that if there's any problem with the bike, they can always come back to us. That was worth everything. And that's what we doubled on every single day since. It's, is customer excellence, walking the talk, making sure that we build that solid trust and making it fast and secure for everybody to trade their vehicles.
You mentioned about Kylie, and the next question is with regards to funding. You recently raised a $10 million Series A with heavyweights like Headline, 500 Global, and Gobi. And you've been very vocal about founders doing due diligence on their investors. What is one specific red flag founders look out for when taking these in?
So, let me put 2 tones to that. I think if your vision and market is really big, it's definitely worth pursuing venture capital money. If your total addressable market and what you can obtain from it is not that sizable, I would not recommend to go venture capital, right? You're building a marketing agency, whatever it is, right? That is not super duper scalable, or you can just basically scale on cash flow. You don't need the steroids. Just don't take venture capital. If you do have that massive market opportunity and you're ready for it for the long run, and you're confident that you can build multiplier money on whatever is given to you, because no investor gives you money without the assumption that they're going to get several multiples out of it, then it's very important due diligence in many ways. So the due diligence first is understanding, are this VC's vision aligned with you, right? The vision alignment is incredibly important, because that will dictate the narrative that you have in the board meeting, right? And that will help the founders to achieve their vision, ultimate vision for the business or not. And if you have that very big opportunity and you're pursuing venture capital money, you should have a very big vision, and you should be in for the long run. So that vision alignment is really important. Otherwise, you might end up being short of that vision. So that's the first. The second would be on basically, interacting with other founders that dealt with them, and, getting their signalings of how it is to work with these VCs, because they might be incredibly helpful, like we have with most of our VCs, or they can be quite destructive in many ways, in valuation and considerations of the business progression, in the founder journey, in the company they build themselves. And sometimes might not be even with bad intention, might be just due to the mandate of the firm they're part of, or LP's push, or whatever it is. So there's nothing wrong to be ready to prepare themselves very well, to learn deeply, or as much as possible visible from the outside, of what is the person that you're going to end up marrying with, because it's a marriage, and it's a long-term one. So yeah, there's nothing specifically wrong, or I don't think I'm particularly vocal there. I think it's just a natural getting prepared, like for everything else. This one is an important one.
Yeah, it is, because like you mentioned, you're getting married, you're giving some control to them as well in terms of your vision and strategy. So always be wary of that. You currently operate in Malaysia and Vietnam, and are looking at Taiwan, a market where 80% of households use motorcycles. When expanding across borders, what is the biggest friction point between leveraging a localized startup ecosystem and scaling regionally?
But what I can tell is what I know. And there's a lot that I don't know. But the reality is, our playbook is very simple. There's a lot that is replicable into any market that we go. Our playbook, our branding, lots of things that are not conflicting with culture locally. Even though we obviously look at all those details as we go in, we care the most is about unit economics. We look at more than a market per se. We look at it per CD, suitability, unit economics, GDP per capita, around of the city, and liquidity of our market itself, and then obviously you need to have super localization in terms of the people that we have facing customer, and we have to understand how the customer behaves. And I give an example. So here in Malaysia, it's not so relevant that the bikes are super beautiful, to the very infamous detail of beautification. Whilst in Vietnam, that's a lot of a bigger factor. Right? Whereas here, the motorcycles are ridden a lot faster. The infrastructure allows that. The distance also is made for that, and the density of motorcycle injection traffic is also very different. In Vietnam, the motorcycles are ridden at a much slower pace, in high traffic motorcycle itself, and for that reason, I think all this surrogate nuances are in place, and then that has an impact on how we market, right? How we do our socials and all those things. But in terms of the operational, I think we buy the bike, we refurbish, we look at safety, we put our multi-layer certification, and then from there on, we sell the bikes.
So it's like utility versus luxury. Would you say that? I mean, over here in Malaysia, it's more like focusing or priority being speed, how much faster it can go.
Not necessarily. They're all walks of life for customers. Definitely here, there's a higher speed natural because the bikes basically blend with the car speed, right? Whilst in Vietnam, the bikes are the cars, essentially, right? There's close to 18 million motorcycles for 100 million people. And it's slower. They do, on average, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Whilst here, that's the kind of entry starting of, narrow roads and whatnot, but there's so many highways. But yes, in terms of the operation itself, the people we hire, we obviously always look at the localized leadership, all the managers. We look at localized, obviously, employers, and we adapt to the nuances of each market. But in a nutshell, the whole business itself, how we build culture internally, our mandate, and how we devote ourselves to customer excellence and building the trust is exactly the same.
Awesome. Switching gears, you were recently selected as Never Entrepreneur. So how has leaning into ecosystem enablers changed your trajectory as a CEO compared to your early days of bootstrapping?
Yeah, I mean, first is incredibly humbling, be able to be amongst stellar business people and with enormous achievements that one could just aspire for. That interconnectivity, it's really a massive enabler. I mean, you're just speaking that your network is your network is your network, right? And I think it's definitely really, really powerful capability of getting to any new country that I probably haven't heard much about, or what the research I've done is not sufficient, and reaching out to Endeavor team locally and ask them to be in touch, have a dinner with several entrepreneurs of different relevant industries to what we do, and get immediate firsthand live what's happening in the market and how to navigate the market feedback. Obviously, in the early days, based on your question, that wasn't really possible. There's a lot of tenacity. There's a lot of eagerness to get to knowledge. There's a lot of hustle on cold approach. But that's something I always had in me. I mean, since a very long time, is looking around yourself and trying to see what other people are doing that you haven't been able to, and ask yourself why, and if possible, ask that person how they do it. I mean, I usually give the example, if you get a recipe from Gordon Ramsay of an omelet, simple as that, you probably can't do the omelet as Stacy and as Gordon Ramsay is doing, but if you sit right next to him, and if he hand holds to you step by step of how you break an egg, the timing that you break an egg, when you put it olive oil or not, how much time is it the frying pan, and when you put the onions and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure if you follow step by step, mimetically, what he has done, you can achieve. Right. And the taste will be the same. Using the same ingredients, obviously, and whatnot. So that applies, I think, for everything in life. And you've seen great thinkers globally have done that. One of the good examples is the Unlimited Power book of Tony Robbins, where he met the 50 best of everything, right? And he just mimetically explains how they achieved several of the things they've achieved, and he gives you tools to get there as well. So, yeah.
I mean, you mentioned about hustle and tenacity in the early days. I've known you for a while, and I don't think it has stopped. If anything, it has doubled down on.
Thank you, sir. I mean, it's pure pleasure.
Super insightful. And with that, we are going to close it down. I mean, some great tips that I think the audience, especially the inspiring founders and others, can learn from. And thank you for coming over on Builders and Backers. We wish you all the best in scaling, not just in Malaysia and Vietnam, but across Southeast Asia and hopefully beyond.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Great to have you.